Today, we're focusing on an important aspect of our business strategy, the property management market analysis. This involves examining the current trends, opportunities, and challenges within the property management sector. By understanding the market dynamics, we can better position our services to meet client needs, identify growth areas, and anticipate potential risks. This analysis forms the foundation for making informed decisions and developing effective strategies that align with market demands. Let's delve into the key factors shaping this market and explore how they impact our business moving forward. Market analysis is essential because it transforms gut feelings into well-informed strategies. For property managers, this means setting prices more accurately, which directly impacts revenue and occupancy. It also allows us to identify potential risks early on, so we can take proactive steps rather than reacting to problems after they arise. Additionally, by relying on real market data instead of assumptions, we make leasing decisions that truly match demand. There are three main benefits to focus on. First, better pricing decisions. This ensures we don't underprice or overprice properties, keeping them competitive yet profitable. Second, earlier visibility into market changes, which gives us a head start to adapt before competitors do. And third, stronger competitive positioning, helping us stand out in the market by leveraging timely and relevant insights. Overall, market analysis is a vital tool for effective property management and sustained success. When conducting a market analysis, there are 5 essential components we need to consider to get a complete and accurate picture. First, local market conditions are crucial. They tell us about the overall environment where the property is located, including demand and supply factors. Next, the demographic profile helps us understand who the potential renters or buyers are, their age, income levels, and lifestyle preferences. Then, we look at rental and vacancy rates, which give insight into how competitive and saturated the market is, as well as pricing dynamics. The competitive landscape refers to the other properties or businesses vying for the same customers or tenants, which helps us position our offerings strategically. Finally, trends and economic signals show us how the market might evolve, including factors like employment rates, new developments, or regulatory changes. It's important to remember that none of these elements should stand alone. A thorough market analysis requires combining all 5 components to make informed decisions, particularly in property management contexts, where understanding the full market scenario is vital for success. When we talk about understanding your local market, it's really about starting with the basics, the blocks, the tenants, and comparable properties around you. This local context is crucial because it directly influences pricing, demand, and how you position your property. Pay close attention to neighborhood-level signals, as these subtle indicators can provide valuable insights into market trends. Initially, your focus should be on property management market analysis. By analyzing these key factors at the neighborhood level, you'll be better equipped to make informed decisions and optimize your strategy effectively. When we talk about demographic analysis as the foundation of our market study, there are several key aspects to consider. First, population size is crucial. Understanding the current resident base helps us gauge the market scope. We also need to track whether the population is growing or declining, as well as migration patterns, which influence demand over time. Next, age distribution plays a significant role. Identifying the presence of young professionals, families with children, and senior renters allows us to tailor our offerings more effectively. Moving on to income levels, looking at household earning bands helps us understand rent affordability ranges and whether the market leans more towards premium or value demand. Altogether, these insights feed into a comprehensive property management market analysis, enabling strategic decision-making based on real demographic trends. When determining rental rates for your property, it's crucial to benchmark prices based on the type of property you're renting out. For example, average monthly rents vary significantly between property types. Apartments, typically 1 to 2 bedroom units, rent for about $1,850 per month. Single-family homes, which often have 3 bedrooms, command higher rents, around $2,650 monthly. Condos, Often mid-rise urban units average around $2,200 per month. Townhomes, usually 2 to 3 bedrooms, rent for about $2,350 monthly. Keeping in mind the overall market range, which spans from $1,850 to $2,650, helps ensure your pricing is competitive while matching local demand. This kind of market analysis is essential before setting your rental rates to maximize occupancy and return. Vacancy rates tell us a lot about the state of the rental market. Generally, a vacancy rate around 5% is seen as balanced. It means supply and demand are roughly in equilibrium. When vacancy rates drop below 5%, it usually indicates a tight rental market, where demand outpaces supply. This gives landlords more pricing power because tenants have fewer options. On the other hand, if vacancy rates rise above 5%, it signals softer demand. This can mean slower leasing activity or even an oversupply of rental units. Additionally, sharp changes in vacancy rates can be a strong indicator of where the market is headed, helping us anticipate shifts before they become obvious. Understanding these dynamics is crucial in property management and market analysis to make informed decisions. When conducting a competition analysis, it's important to focus on 3 key areas that tenants use to compare properties. First, consider amenities. This includes unit finishes, parking options, pet policies, on-site services, and even how convenient the digital leasing process is. These features can significantly influence a tenant's choice. Next, look at pricing. This isn't just about the base rent, but also concessions, the fee structure, lease terms, and how renewal increases are handled. Understanding the full pricing picture helps you see where your property stands financially compared to others. Lastly, tenant demographics are crucial. You need to know who your competition attracts in terms of income, household type, lifestyle, and commute patterns. Essentially, your real competition is not every property nearby but the shortlist that renters seriously consider. By benchmarking your property through these lenses, amenities, pricing, and tenant demographics, you can position it effectively in the market and meet renter expectations more precisely. This thorough approach is key to successful property management and market analysis. When identifying market trends, it's crucial to track movement over time rather than reacting to a single data point. This helps us distinguish between a temporary dip and a true market shift. For example, we often categorize market conditions into 3 main states: stability, decline, and growth. Stability indicates a balanced market where supply and demand are relatively equal. Decline suggests a softening market with reduced demand or increased supply. Growth, on the other hand, points to high demand and expanding opportunities. By observing these patterns through different months, from January to November, we can get a clearer picture of the overall direction. Remember, direction matters more than isolated figures, so reading the pattern over time is essential for accurate property management market analysis. Looking at these key economic indicators, we can see several important factors shaping the property management market. First, employment growth is a major driver of demand, especially for rental properties. As more people gain jobs, the need for housing increases, which directly supports leasing activity. Next, GDP trends also play a significant role as overall economic growth strengthens the ability of people and businesses to lease and invest. However, inflation presents a challenge by increasing costs, which can squeeze profit margins in property management. Additionally, elevated interest rates are impacting pricing strategies across the market, forcing adjustments in both rental rates and investment approaches. All these indicators together highlight why understanding the broader economy is crucial when analyzing the property management sector. They help us anticipate market movements and make informed decisions. Here we are looking at the fundamental dynamics between supply and demand in the property management market. On the supply side, when more units and new construction come into the market, this increases the inventory available. As a result, rents and occupancy rates can come under pressure because tenants have more options to choose from. Essentially, more supply can mean more competition among landlords. On the demand side, the picture is influenced by the number of renters and their financial strength. When the renter pool grows due to population increases and when incomes rise, tenants can afford higher rents. This supports price stability and reduces the risk of vacancies. So, stronger demand can balance out the effects of increased supply. Understanding this balance between supply additions and demand growth is critical for making informed decisions in property management and market analysis. It helps us anticipate market trends and adjust our strategies accordingly. When conducting your own survey, the process begins by walking the neighborhood. This helps you get a first-hand sense of the area and what properties are available. Next, photographing properties is essential to document their condition and features accurately. Collecting data comes after, where you gather all the relevant information, such as prices, vacancy rates, and tenant demographics. Interviewing managers provides valuable insights directly from people who understand the market dynamics well. Through this fieldwork, you transform market assumptions into solid, real-world evidence, giving you a more accurate and reliable property management market analysis. Here, we're looking at some essential data collection tools used in property management market analysis. First, census data provides demographic insights that help us understand the population and economic characteristics in a specific area. Next, property databases give detailed information about properties, including ownership and transaction history. Local MLS, or multiple listing service, is crucial for accessing current property listings and market trends. Permit records reveal construction and renovation activities, which can indicate growth or changes in an area. Tax assessments show property values as determined by local authorities, helping us gauge market prices. Online reviews offer qualitative data on tenant satisfaction and property management quality. By combining these diverse data sources, we can form a comprehensive and accurate analysis of the property management market. This thorough approach is key to making informed decisions and staying ahead in the market. When creating your analysis report, it's important to structure it clearly to convey your findings effectively. Start with the executive summary, where you highlight the key findings, any risks identified, and the main conclusion. This provides a quick overview for decision makers. Next, include the market overview, which covers local conditions, demand signals, and the pricing context. This helps to set the stage for your analysis. Following that, delve into the demographic data, focusing on population, income levels, household composition, and renter profiles, as these factors influence market dynamics. Then, present a competitive analysis that reviews comparable properties, current vacancy rates, amenities offered, and how each property is positioned in the market. Finally, wrap up with your recommendations, detailing suggested actions related to pricing strategies, marketing efforts, property upgrades, and the next steps to move forward. This structured approach ensures your report is comprehensive, actionable, and aligned with the property management market analysis. When multiple red flags appear together in the market, it might be signaling that things are weakening more quickly than what the headline data shows. First, rising vacancy rates are a clear sign. More empty units mean demand is softening. Then you have declining rents, which often indicate that property owners are under pressure to lower prices to attract tenants. Deferred maintenance is another big concern. When aging properties aren't properly maintained, it can negatively impact the entire submarket. Lastly, population exodus is a critical factor. If people are moving away, the pool of future renters shrinks, which can lead to long-term challenges. Keeping an eye on these indicators helps us get a more accurate picture of the property's health beyond just the surface numbers. When we talk about healthy neighborhoods, we're really looking at communities that attract tenants and help maintain strong pricing power for property owners. There are 4 key indicators to watch for. First, population growth means more households are moving into the market, which naturally increases demand for housing. Second, new commercial development sends a clear signal of confidence and anticipated future demand in the area. Third, improved infrastructure, like better transit options, roads, and local amenities, makes the neighborhood more appealing and accessible. Finally, strong employment provides stability, as steady jobs support both rent growth and high occupancy rates. These green lights together create a positive environment for property management and investment. Now, let's talk about setting performance benchmarks, which is essential for successful property management and market analysis. First, we have the target ROI, or return on investment. This is the minimum return threshold you expect from the market, and it's critical to define this clearly to ensure your investment meets your financial goals. Next is the expected occupancy rate. It's important to set a realistic target here based on the actual demand in your local market, so you can anticipate how full your property will be at any given time. Finally, we look at average rent growth. Tracking how quickly rents are expected to increase in your specific submarket helps you forecast revenue growth over time. Together, these three benchmarks help create a solid foundation for evaluating property performance and making informed management decisions. Here, we focus on how to effectively adjust your strategy in property management by following a clear four-step process. First, analyze the market by carefully reading pricing trends, vacancy rates, and demand signals to understand what's currently driving the market. Next, compare your findings against your goals and the competition locally to see where you stand and identify opportunities or threats. Then, adjust your approach by refining rent prices, marketing efforts, and leasing tactics to better align with the market conditions and your objectives. Finally, implement these changes quickly, but also track the results with each cycle to ensure your strategy remains effective. The key takeaway is that the market will shape your moves. When conditions shift, your strategy must adapt just as fast and just as deliberately to stay ahead. Here we have a case study focused on how a suburban multifamily market responded to a market downturn. Initially, rents began to soften as new supply entered the market, and local job growth stalled, creating pressure on demand. As a result, vacancy rates climbed, concessions became more common, and confidence in lease renewals dropped significantly within just 2 quarters. To address these challenges, the strategic response was multifaceted. First, pricing was reset by unit type rather than applying broad across-the-board discounts, allowing for more targeted adjustments. Next, occupancy was protected through tailored renewal offers and a tighter follow-up process with prospective tenants. Lastly, upgrades were prioritized that enhanced the perceived value of the property but did not require major capital expenditures. This approach balanced maintaining income with controlling costs, helping to stabilize the asset during a difficult market period. The collaboration between property management and market analysis was crucial to making informed decisions throughout this downturn. Let's take a closer look at a real-world example that highlights the importance of identifying emerging market opportunities. We focused on a formerly overlooked district that was starting to show clear signs of growth. This area had rising foot traffic, new mixed-use developments were popping up, and properties there were leasing up faster than in nearby submarkets. We recognized that Class B rental properties near new retail spaces and transit were undersupplied, creating a unique opportunity. By entering early, you were able to reposition pricing effectively and specifically target young professionals, a demographic we knew would respond well to this environment. As a result, occupancy rates climbed ahead of our competitors who had not yet fully acknowledged the market shift. This case study demonstrates the value of proactive market analysis and timely action in property management to seize opportunities before they become obvious to everyone. Here we have the quarterly review rhythm, which is a structured cycle that helps us keep our market analysis up to date and actionable throughout the year. The process is divided into 4 main steps, each corresponding to a quarter. In Q1, we focus on collecting relevant data and information. This is the foundation for everything that follows, as timely and accurate data is critical. Moving into Q2, we analyze the collected data. This step involves interpreting trends, identifying patterns, and understanding the implications for our market and property management strategies. Then, in Q3, we compile and report our findings. This ensures that insights are clearly communicated to all stakeholders, allowing for informed decision-making. Finally, in Q4, we adjust our strategies based on the reported insights, making necessary changes to stay competitive and responsive to market dynamics. This quarterly cadence creates a continuous, repeatable cycle that keeps our market analysis current and aligned with our goals. It's a dynamic approach that promotes proactive management rather than reactive responses. When conducting a property management market analysis, it's essential to avoid some common pitfalls. First, ignoring vacancy trends can lead to inaccurate assessments of market demand and rental potential. Understanding how vacancies fluctuate helps us anticipate changes in occupancy rates. Second, relying on outdated data is risky because market conditions can change quickly. Up-to-date information ensures decisions are based on the current reality. Third, overlooking demographics means missing out on key insights about the target tenant population, such as age, income, and lifestyle preferences, which significantly influence property appeal. Fourth, neglecting competition can result in overestimating a property's performance potential. Knowing what similar properties offer helps position your property strategically. Lastly, assuming that supply will stay flat ignores the possibility of new developments entering the market, which can affect rental rates and occupancy. Paying close attention to these factors leads to a more accurate and comprehensive market analysis. To build a strong competitive advantage, there are 3 key elements we need to focus on. First is timely data. Being able to see market shifts before our competitors allows us to stay ahead and make proactive decisions. Next is deep local knowledge. Understanding the neighborhoods, tenants, and pricing signals gives us the insight needed to tailor our strategies effectively. Finally, rapid adaptation is crucial. The market is constantly changing, so we have to adjust our strategies quickly to respond to new conditions. Combining these elements ensures we maintain a strong position in property management and market analysis. Now let's focus on the next steps for your action plan in the property management market analysis. First, it's crucial to clearly define your market area. Know exactly where you're operating and who your competitors are. Next, gather baseline data to understand the current market conditions and establish a solid starting point. From there, set clear performance targets that you want to achieve. These goals will guide your efforts and measure success. It's important to schedule quarterly reviews. These regular check-ins help you track progress, identify issues early, and make adjustments as needed. Document all your findings thoroughly. Keeping detailed records supports transparency and informed decision-making. The key message is to start now, but keep refining your plan every quarter to stay aligned with market changes and continuously improve your results. To wrap up, the first key takeaway is to always start with local demand rather than making assumptions. Understanding the specific needs and trends in your local market gives you a solid foundation. Next, it's crucial to track rents, vacancies, and what your competitors are doing all at once. This helps you stay competitive and responsive. Then, remember that demographics are a big piece of the puzzle because they show where growth is actually coming from. Another important point is conducting quarterly reviews. These keep your strategy aligned with the current market reality, so you're not just reacting, but proactively managing. Finally, the stronger your analysis, the better your property performance will be. Using data effectively allows you to make smarter decisions that drive success.